Hi, welcome to KartTV. I'm Neil Schneider, and today I'm here with Chante, a certified Pilates and STOT instructor, and her wonderful assistant, Kai. And today they're going to show you a wonderful exercise to relieve sciatic pain and open up hip mobility, the clamshells.
The clamshells is a really fundamental exercise, helping getting rid of sciatica pain, opening up those hips. Again, sitting at your desk all day can cause some discomfort in the hips and maybe some pinching feeling, and then transferring down the leg. That sharp pain is that sciatica pain, and these clamshells will help alleviate some of that discomfort. So to get into your exercise, your starting position is laying down on a mat sideways. So Kai, I'll get you to lay down here. You can have your head up by this side here on the left, and then have yourself laying down comfortably. He can then have his bottom arm either extended out fully to use as a head pillow, or kind of bend the elbow and cradle the head with the hand behind the neck. His top hand's gonna act like his anchor, so your top hand's just gonna come onto the mat in front of you, fingertips down, good, and pressing down. His knees are gonna bend, so bend your knees up towards your chest, good, and then have your heels together, knees touching. Starting position is really important in clamshells. You have to start in a good position to then have a proper exercise and proper activation. For Kai today, you wanna have, well, and for you at home, you wanna have these knees in line with each other. What you'll find sometimes is this top knee will be too far back, so bring your knee back. So if you see this unevenness in your knees, you know that your top hip is then rolling back. So you want to stack the hips on top of one another. Ideally, Kai is lifting up in his waist, so there is a bit of space between his waist and the mat, and he's not dumping into the mat and releasing his core. Because as always, you want that cold water feeling, transversus is on, belly button is hugged inwards. His collarbones are wide and his neck is long, so we have a nice starting position with shoulders and hips stacked, space in the waist. Okay, so for the feet portion of this, you don't want to keep your toes together. You want to be able to have the separation of the toes so that when we're externally rotating up at the top part of the leg chain, we're not then internally rotating at the bottom of the leg chain, because if you keep toes together, knees can have some issues. Okay, good. So he's gonna squeeze his heels together. So try to squeeze those heels together. Good, trying not to lift that knee. Okay, with his heels squeezing together, what do you feel activates? You're feeling those glutes on? Okay, so when he squeezes his heels together, his glutes will turn on. Then he's going to lift his knee up without dropping the top hip. Good. Lowering the knee down. Again, lifting that knee, but not letting that top hip fall back. It's staying stacked. So in your mind, it's not just that the knee is lifting, you're also thinking about thrusting your hip forward a little bit. So you can always have your top two fingertips here on your hip bone. Kai will get you to do that now. Just those fingertips on your hip bone. As you press your heels together and lift your knee upwards, you're also squeezing your glutes, thrusting that hip bone into your fingers. So there should be pressure into your fingers as you lift your knee. Okay, and then getting that pressure, if that makes you not able to lift your knee up as high, then that's fine. That's normal. Getting into your actual lateral rotators, they're not usually that strong. So if you're lifting your knee and getting that activation, you might only be able to lift it half as much as you think you'll be able to, and that's okay. You'll be able to open up the hip eventually and work through making the knee go higher and adding challenge. But super important to keep the toes separated, squeezing the heels together to already turn on the glutes, and then lifting your knee up, imagining you're pressing into a hand or a band on the thigh, and then pressing the hip forward, squeezing the glutes, keeping waist lifted. And just to note, you can fiddle with your position in terms of where the knees are in space. So keeping the knees bent the same amount, Kai can then drop his knees down from his chest, open his hips up a little bit more, or he can tuck his knees deeper up into his chest, just depending on your own hip mobility as you move forwards. Moving your knees up higher and working through your clamshell will give you a bit more strength through those lateral rotators. Okay. Thanks for tuning in to KartTV. I'm Chante, a certified stop Pilates instructor, and those are your clamshells, hopefully relieving you from some sciatica pain.